Good morning, rise and shine. It is Green Nurse Sherri and Christy Chapman time. So welcome to the Green Nurse podcast. We're going to get started with our handy dandy little video just to get everyone gathered together for an amazing morning show. Here we go.
Change the paradigm of healthcare.
The Green Nurse is a holistic cannabis nurse that teaches on the endocannabinoid system and the safe utilization of cannabis and other progressive tools to help people reach a better quality of life.
I'm the founder of Holistic Caring. We're based here in California, and we do educational programs and case management for patients on how to use cannabis therapeutically as a medicine.
We're also here to decrease stigma around what it means to feel good and be high, hence the H for hope, I for inspiration, G for growth, and H for healing.
As the founder of Holistic Caring, I basically oversee the whole ship, and what we're doing is progressive education.
Cannabis actually supports all 11 organ systems, our immune system, and all the neurotransmitter signaling systems that give messages to tell our body to either do something or not do something. Because the plant was prohibited, it prevented health professionals, doctors and nurses from learning about cannabis as medicine.
I want to change the paradigm of healthcare and us paving the way into a new vanguard of medicine. And I'm excited to really bring this into light. There's a company called Cannabis that we're merging with, and we will now be doing global education.
It's about education, it's about empowerment, it's about teaching people how to feel good, bridging the gap from what they're not getting from traditional medicine, utilizing different plant medicines, adaptogens, tips, tricks, hugs, and nugs of information to support and nourish the most important system in our body.
And it's a lot of soul work, a lot of love, a lot of discipline, and meditation. I'm using my life work as a testimony to others to learn how they can be their own hero and then go help heal the world.
And we are, as nurses, the game changers.
Growing in health, growing in cannabis. And I'm just going to kind of rephrase that statement when I said nurses are the game changers in this space. I'm going to kind of rephrase that to say health practitioners that delve into the science and the wisdom of plant medicine and share that information are the game changers of the space. So welcome to the Green Nurse podcast. I'm so excited here to have Christy Chapman. She's a respiratory care practitioner, CEO and founder of Chapman Health and Wellness and the Balm Body Care Company. She was on our podcast last week sharing her company, her compelling story of healing, and discussing her CBD inhaler, which we are going to plug during the show because it's such a powerful concept and I can't wait to get mine. So for the new viewers, Christy, will you just say hello and then we'll get into the show and cover all of our fun hugs and nugs.
Hello, and thank you so much for inviting me back. It is just so wonderful to sit with you, Sherri. Your energy and your vibes are just so full of love, and your hugs and nugs, you just always have enough to go around. I love that about you.
Thank you. So I want to hear about you. So for our new viewers and fans out there, just a quick, hello. Say where you're from, what you're doing in the space, and then we'll get started a little bit more because I really want to promote you because what we talked about last week was so powerful, and what you're doing in the space and how your vision, you have not wavered with your vision and what you're trying to do in the cannabis space. I really honor that. And I want our viewers to get to know you just a little bit better.
Okay, so my name is Christy Chapman. I am a respiratory therapist of 25 plus years. I had to leave my medical position due to pain issues, and I found cannabis as my healer and my best friend. I then went on to do a topical line and was awarded with runner-up in Oregon in 2016. And at that time, as a respiratory practitioner, I was still focused on lung health. And that is my passion, and that's where I have been pulled towards. So we do CBD inhalers. We have CBG and CBN inhalers coming out, and a few other formulations. So we're very excited about that because we all know what CBD does. And the modalities that we are using are different modalities, different ways of consuming for different people. And I don't even say patients anymore because we all have an endocannabinoid system.
Yes.
So therefore, does that not make us all patients?
We are all patients for sure. For sure.
So this was something that I did as an asthma medication and started studying that, realizing that it was a measurable volume that the inhalers provided. And it was a measured dose, which I'm very, very interested in. So it wasn't only asthma that I found people were having relief from. I had previously, I have a lot of friends that have gut issues, and CBD, in fact, has given them quality of life. And so this is a very important modality. It goes anywhere. It's no heat, no smoke. You can do it at the dinner table with your grandparents, and you have anonymity if you choose.
Exactly, because if you think about it, it is. People are used to seeing inhalers. So there's less stigma around pulling out an inhaler to medicate than there is pulling out what? A vape pen, right? Or pulling out. So it's a really, yeah. So
many people. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. So it's, even just like the new people that are coming in that, are unsure. I really love, Elizabeth has an amazing testimonial on this product, and I really can't wait to share it. I'm waiting for her Elizabeth, hurry up, to give a testimonial on it, because it's really, her testimonial is really cool. And I can't wait to try it myself. And the reason why is because I am going through a pain flare right now, a little bit, and it'll just be interesting to see. I'm trying to nip it in the bud, but it'll just be interesting to see how this different type of product that gets absorbed into my system via inhalation without heat, using the meter dose inhalers, the micron size droplet that you have in your product, that's optimal for deposition. The droplets are so small, they're able to reach the lower part of the lungs, the alveoli, where the oxygen exchange has. So these alveoli are the small sacs in our lungs that provide oxygen exchange. And from what I've learned is that this product that you have with CBD allows that to cross the blood-brain barrier. I think that's just phenomenal. Just
Absolutely. It's all about droplet size for how the deposition in the lung, and really that we're very happy with where we're at on that.
Yeah, really cool. All right, so I have another little hug and a nug. We always start our morning off with, hold on a little quickly here, with a little hug and a nug, a little woo, a little positivity, a little quote. And I found this one, or actually someone shared this one. It's a Twitter post. I'm going to make it big. And, you hear me say all the time, remember what it's all about. It's about living your best life. Or
Absolutely.
even, or living your favorite version of yourself, right? Go be your favorite self. And really what I love about that is it does leave room for grace. So when you think about what does grace mean? Well, it can mean something different for everyone. And for me, it allows for forgiveness, right? It allows for forgiveness of myself, of being human.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, go be your favorite self. How does cannabis help us to become favorite versions of ourselves?
I really believe that once you get close to cannabis, the hemp plant or the higher THC plant she teaches you. She unravels things that she wants to teach you. And when we recognize that with people around us, that we are all growing at a rapid rate, with what our passions are. And so to be able to extend grace is just, I think, one of the most important things, especially in this industry. So I would just like to share what grace is to me.
Yes, absolutely.
Of course, grace is forgiveness, because without forgiveness, starting with yourself, you are going to be a pretty miserable person. So let's start with that forgiveness. But grace to me is something that is offered to somebody in that which they do not deserve, yet you choose to. That is grace in my heart. So many of us don't deserve what we have, but yet there was grace extended to us, and look at where we are. So goosebumps. Wow. Grace is my, it's what I try to wake up and put forth every day.
That is something that really just stuck into my head. So I'm really going to remember that. So when you another concept of grace, I look at grace as forgiving myself and others, but to even take it a step further is when your perception is they've hurt you so much that you feel that they don't deserve it, but you extend it anyways. That's really powerful.
You will not experience healing on a level, I can only speak for myself, that has just brought so much joy, because when we have forgiveness, we get pieces of ourselves back.
Yes,
it's
certainly do.
So I believe in grace.
I believe in grace. Excellent. So saving grace. Thank God for cannabis. So here we go. We're going to step into grace, and I'm going to say hallelujah. I'm so grateful that this plant came into my life, because this plant showed me grace when I felt that I had none at one point in time. You imagine coming into the space as a patient, flipping from the other side, coming from a registered nurse with over 25 years experience in the hospital, and all of these things that we've done as clinicians. And how could nothing work for me, right? Nothing worked until the plant came into my life. And so I felt like, the plant is my saving grace. And,
it's put on this earth for a reason. Everything is for a reason. And the health that we see going on all around us, Sherri, what a blessing is that, to see people say that they have cancer and they're, putting their affairs together, and then they call you 6 months later from the doctor and say, you can't find it. Now, I'm not suggesting that it is a cure-all, but it certainly lets people live a different life. And that's
wonderful too, is what we've seen too is clinicians, as well, being in the conventional system and now being a part of the plant medicine community. We both have seen how cannabis can bridge the gap from what people aren't getting from traditional medicine, or conventional medicine, I should say. I look at traditional now going way back. We're going back to the times of when plants were used all the time to help and to heal and to nourish people. So part of the plant that we're going to talk about today is terpenes. So today is Terpene Tuesday, and we're going to discuss delta-3 carrying. And we've discussed it before, but we're going to have a different conversation today. And before we get started on what delta-3 carrying is, I'm going to discuss a little bit about what terpenes are. So terpenes are organic compounds that produce specific smells and tastes, and they're found in cannabis, essential oils, plants, trees, and foods. And in cannabis, the terpenes help ward off attacks from animals, insects, fungus throughout the growth cycle of the plant. You can start to smell it. Those are the terpenes. So when a cannabis plant goes through the curation process, so when it's time to be harvested, it starts to cure, the terpenes become oxidized. And oxidized means oxygen hits it, oxidative stress. It starts to change the composition. And so when they become oxidized, it results in what we know as terpenoids. So terpenes contribute to the entourage effect and have their own healing properties. The entourage effects suggest that using all of the cannabinoids and terpenes together produces a more potent medicinal effect rather than using the isolated compounds alone. So another way of saying that, to bottom line it, is the whole of the plant is greater than its individual parts. But for today's show, we're going to pick apart one little component, the terpene delta 3 carrying. All right, so I have some handy dandy notes available here. Would you like to get started, Christy? So,
well, you picked a great terpene. It has so many valuable components to it. It is found in cannabis and essential oils and other plants, including rosemary, basil, bell peppers, cedar, and pine. It's also used as a flavoring agent in food. We just really are learning so much about how we can press just about anything and get terpenes out of it. Right. You know, bell peppers, who would have thought? Rosemary and basil are actually wonderful ones. Their therapeutic potential boosts bone health and those osteoporosis, osteoarthritis, or other bone diseases. It also increases the incorporation of calcium into the bones, mineralization, improving overall bone health. These bone strengthening properties, which make delta 3 carnine a potential treatment for osteoporosis.
There you go.
So a few other things here. It does promote, it is a neuroprotection.
Yes, and the neuroregeneration, how cool is that? Neurogenesis. I love that.
So,
and then focus. I love that part, right?
Focus. It increases focus. So this is a good terpene for us older people.
For memory.
I
love it.
Only for myself. This is a good
one. So you think about too, so it's a really good one. As we get older, right? We don't die of old age. We die of old age related diseases that's related to inflammation. So if you think about if we're looking at specific cannabinoids and terpenes, this one here actually does promote neurodegeneration, promotes the neuroprotection, increases the focus. So how can it do that, right? It improves memory, which increases your recall, better overall cognitive function, right? Making this terpene particularly effective with the treatment and management of diseases of dementia, including Alzheimer's and Parkinson's. So the other thing I liked too, when I learned about it, because we just talked about inflammation, this terpene is beneficial as an anti-inflammatory and can relieve pain associated with arthritis and fibromyalgia. Really, really cool.
I loved the point about how it helps to decrease swelling or edema. How many of us are sitting at our desks all day, and at the end of the day, we have a lot of edema pooling, and certainly this would be terpene that would be great in a topical. That would help that swelling, because immune systems swell, don't they?
Absolutely. So here's another cool one too, which I learned. We get our statistics from Cannabis, which is an amazing research platform that discusses cannabinoids, terpenes, diseases, and actually links actual research that has been done. So some of the other traits of delta 3 carrying is it has the ability to dry out excess bodily fluids like tears, mucus, sweat. And so the drying behavior of this terpene actually makes it useful as an antihistamine and for wellness products. So while this terpene might be good if you have a runny nose, it's also most likely the culprit behind the dry throat that you sometimes get after using inhalation. So very, very interesting. And some of the strains that we have written here about delta 3 carrying, some of the strains that it's been found in are what, Christy? You got your handy dandy list?
I see Super Silver Haze on there, which is a great one. Super Lemon Haze, which is another fantastic strain. Lemon Shining Silver Haze, and Skunk XL, and
then Arjan's
Ultra Haze. That one.
Yeah, that's interesting. Arjan's Ultra Haze number 2. So here's the whole interesting thing about we're seeing haze, right? And so haze in the strain world seems to be more of a sativa or a little bit more uplifting. So you think about, why might that be, right? One of the things that comes to me is that how it has the ability, right, to improve focus, right? How it has the capability of improving the focus, improving memory, some of those different things, those bronchodilator effects, the anti-inflammatory. So haze. So I really enjoy that. And as you know, Christy, when we talk about strains, there's been a lot of discussion about strain names. Are they good or they're bad? I think they're hilarious. I think they're very, very good when it comes to when you're going to choose a product to inhale. I think they're really good too. Strains are important if they're also going to be making specific tinctures that are strain specific. But the thing is that's really important is that seeing that certificate of analysis to actually see what's in it. Because super silver haze is grown here on the East Coast as of being grown on the West Coast is going to look a lot different. Look, taste, and the profiles are going to look a lot different. Absolutely. So the bottom line is it's important and essential for us when we are consuming products to look at the cannabinoid profiles, look at the terpene profiles, look at their certificate of analysis. We want to look at products that are made from, flowering strains of hemp or, cannabis. The difference between cannabis and hemp, the only thing that's different is the THC level that's in a lab. I like to say that. Right? We want to look at terpenes. We want to look at essential fatty acids. We want to look at, is there contaminants, residual solvents? So very, very important for us to look at everything when we're consuming products, because let's face it, it's expensive. And if you're going to be purchasing it, we really want you all to know what you're taking so you can get the most therapeutic effect and get the most bang for your buck. Because I'm going to tell you too, I remember when I started my cannabis journey, also write things down. If you're new to cannabis, write it all down, because when I first started on my journey, I would take products and use them and not have a good effect, not like them, put them aside or give them to someone. And then 6 months later, I'll see it and I'll be like, oh, maybe I want to try that. Well, if I had it written down, I wouldn't be purchasing the same thing again. So really documenting is really important. Having a little journal when you start on your cannabis journey. So this has been awesome, Christy. Let's see who's here. We've got Becky and Brian and Glenn. Oh, can you talk about nano measurements cannabis in the future? Oh, can you talk about nano measurements cannabis in the urine? Okay, so yeah, I'm going to look into what that means. Nano measurements. So Glenn, if you could be a little bit more specific, are you talking about drug testing, urine drug testing and what they're looking for? So I'm not quite sure what the question is, but we'd be more than happy to investigate and report back. So if you are all new out there, we want you to come join us in the community. The Green Nurses are the holistic caring community. Really excited to have you all come in. Christy's there. She is part of our Green Nurse approved marketplace. Her product line is going to be up there soon. We're just waiting to get a few things ironed out. But in the meantime, you can find her at chapmanhealthandwellness.com. But in the meantime, come visit us at holisticcaring.com. Join the community, free patient portal. Well, our patients, support group, webinars, all of the podcasts are there. Access to clinicians across the globe. Free book club, and you don't need to own the book. Cannabis for Health, Become a Coach. Elizabeth Mack wrote this book. Really, really grateful to be evolving in the cannabis space. Christy, you had something to say?
Yes. The community that your team and Holistic Caring has provided, in my mind's eye, I see it as the first stop where people can really have all of their questions answered, know what is specifically for them, for what diagnosis they're dealing with, rather than where I, as a patient years ago, it was just go in and pick and choose and hope that something worked. We have nurses that have come together and done education and are there to love on you and walk you through this process. And what a beautiful thing to have. So it's like a mini doctor's office with the better plant offering for you. So please come and
Come
join the
join us.
community. It's full of
Yes.
love.
Thank you so much for that, for edifying that. It's really important, and I didn't tell her to say that. but yeah, so thank you.
No, I'm just-
Yeah. So basically too, so on Wednesday night, we want you to join us. We're going to be going over a little bit more what green nurse approved means. And we're going to introduce one of our other vendors, Nurse Grown Organics, who's from Vermont. She's clean green certified. And we're going to have Jamie Rollins on. Jamie Rollins is a powerhouse in the cannabis space and the psychedelic space. And she's in charge of the affiliate program for Nurse Grown Organics. So we're actually going to have that show on Wednesday night at 8 p.m. So make sure you join us. We love you all. Christy is going to be joining me every single Tuesday for hugs and nugs, tidbits, tips and tricks, and terpenes. So we love you all. And remember what it's all about. It's about living your best life and helping others do the same.